This is Sports Talk on TriadSportsCoverage.com.
Sports fans, this is Mike Cutaway coming to you live from Bibbs Downtown in beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for tonight's edition of Sports Talk on TriadSportsCoverage.com. My usual sidekick, Mr. Alec Hodges, is down the street at the Dash Stadium doing the PA announcing for the Winston-Salem Dash baseball game, so he's not here. And my it's not you're not a jack of all trades. You're to be a Jackie of all trades, I guess.
Yeah, I'm definitely not all trades. I wouldn't say all
First
trades.
of all, I want to say something publicly on the air so people will know this. You've been writing some articles throughout the summer called Behind the Wheel.
Yeah.
And I've gotten more compliments about those articles.
Thank you.
I was down to track Saturday, and the car owner from Lee and Robert Jeffries, that family came up to me and said it was really a neat article, and you did a wonderful job. So I just want to say that just a great job, and we appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
It means a lot when we get those compliments.
It's a lot of fun, too, and I'm really enjoying, getting to really know these guys outside of the car. I mean, we all see them on the track, whether it be, at our local stadium here or, anywhere else driving. I mean, this week I'm going to be talking to a K&N East driver, and I'm looking forward to that, so stay tuned. But, it's just a lot of fun to get to know, some of my favorite athletes, outside of their chosen sport. And, of course, my chosen sport is motorsports, and God knows I love it. But so that's why I kind of decided to do this. So stay tuned. And if you have anyone that you'd like to see featured that I might not know about or that we might not know about, please email us at info@TriadSportsCoverage.com.
Very good. We do have a special show tonight after being absent for a little bit.
Just a little bit. We've been doing a little something. We're going to do a little something different with our show now.
We're going to have one show a month here at Bibbs.
That's right.
And we're also Bibbs is also sponsoring our remote broadcast for athletic events throughout the fall. And there will be some Glen football, and there will be some, we're going to do a Glen soccer game, and we may even do a Glen volleyball game.
Very
and
cool.
We're going to do some Salem College.
I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, they have their opening soccer game at home, and we're going to be there. They're playing Wake Tech on the campus of Salem College.
That's awesome.
So we're going to broadcast that at 4 o'clock. It'll probably take about 2 hours. As soon as that game's over, we're going to pack up and drive within the speed limit up to Kernersville and do the Glen West Forsyth football game at 7:30. So,
awesome.
But before we get into the Glen athletics, I want to recap a little bit about our weekend. We were down at NCQMA again, and they had a great crowd of drivers, and they had what they call cup races for the heavy Honda, junior Honda, and senior Honda classes of quarter midgets. And those are really prestigious races for these kids. And it resembled a regional or a national event with the intensity and the competitive nature. I mean, you could almost sense it was really important for them. And I want to give a shout-out to the winners. Christopher Opplinger won the senior Honda, Tyler Conover won the junior Honda, and Jacob Borsch won the heavy Honda. And all three of those races were amazing, a lot of talent, a lot of contact, we'll put it that way.
I heard it was pretty heavily contested. Lots of contact, a couple of flipovers, and a couple of medical.
One of our young drivers, Luke Akers, and I was telling Luke after the races, if it wasn't for bad luck, you'd have no luck at all. And it's been that way almost the whole season for Luke. But he flipped over. Alex Anderson flipped over, and it looks exciting and looks scary, but fortunately these cars are built to withstand those types of that type of contact.
That's right.
But like I was talking to Brett Anderson, Alex's dad, and it doesn't make it any easier because the cars are safe when you see your son,
or your daughter
rolling down the track.
Sure.
So we had a great time. We're going to be back on September the 6th. They'll have another points race, and we'll be broadcasting. But we've had a great time all summer. I want to give a shout-out to Flash Products, who has been our sponsor for our motorsports coverage on the air all summer. So we appreciate that. Mr. Chris Youngchuck has been very generous to help us out, so we appreciate it. Now, when we have this show tonight with the Glen Bobcats, I think if you were on social media, we're going to give away 2 $25 gift certificates for Bibbs downtown.
Yeah, and for some reason I'm not eligible, and I sure would love one.
Well,
you think maybe I could just sneak one home?
Well, if I happen to draw a number and you come up, there's going to be a problem.
I know. You won't let me have one.
I had the same issue Saturday at the racetrack. We were going to give away something, and the people that were working with me wanted to know if they could win it. And I said, no, you can't.
We're not eligible. I promise people I will not be a winner tonight. But that's okay, because I'm a winner when I come up here and get my fried green tomatoes. Do you know they got fried green tomatoes now?
Here?
Oh, my God, yes. They are wonderful. If you've not tried their fried green tomatoes, they're only supposed to have them until the end of the month, so you got about a week. You better get here, and you got to try them. Oh, my God, they're incredible.
And we also want to say a big thanks to Robert at Bibbs.
Yes.
He's renewed our contract. He's been really, really great to work with,
Absolutely.
very generous, and the folks here always treat us nice, and we enjoy coming here, and every time we have a show, the crowd that leaves, they always rave about, if it's our first time here, the food is just out of this world. It's great,
Right.
So we appreciate it.
Hey,
So-
that reminds me, we also have to give a big shout-out to our own pit master, Pig Daddy Pig Little, Mark Little.
Yep.
Yeah, Pig Little. I don't know why I'm calling you Little Pig. Sorry, Mark, love you. No, Mark recently had surgery, so he hasn't been here in a little bit. But, Mark, we miss you. We look forward to seeing you. And Mark might be joining us at some Glen games, so I'm looking forward to that, too. I think he might bring some food with him.
He was at one of our games last year, and we had a great time, and it was like, it doesn't hurt that he brings a truckload of food
No, that's
for
right.
the press box.
That's the best part.
But Mark, I want you to know that if you came empty-handed, you're still welcome, because you do a good job and you're a great person. So, but it does help to feed us, because a lot of us media people, we show up without eating for 3 days. And
That's right. We stay hungry.
But I just had an email or a message from the Bobcat football coach, Mr. Aldean Payne, and they just wrapped up their practice about 10, 15 minutes ago. They are heading down the highway.
Also,
coming into
there are going to be some sweaty football players here.
and we are giving away 2 bib certificates, $25 gift cards. The first one we're going to announce, and we'll be drawing numbers. So if you're in the audience, make sure you see this lady over here in the corner with the cup with the numbers, and
the number cup.
She is the Chief Financial Officer of TriadSportsCoverage LLC, so she's important.
That's right.
So she controls everything we do in a roundabout way. But we're going to draw a number at 7 o'clock, and then once those football players get here, we'll have to go back around and give out numbers again. So there will be two winners, and we want to say that we appreciate Bibbs helping out on these gift cards. They also did it for our wrestling tournament last winter.
That's right. And I'm telling you, one of the winners, I thought wrestlers like to put people on the floor, but this winner jumped like he's in track, and he jumped so high, I didn't know if he was going to come down. He was so excited.
Yeah,
I bet he's already used it. I bet he used it the following week.
It's always fun to win something, and we feel good about having people that are willing to get on board with what we're doing and help some of these student athletes.
Absolutely.
We're going to take our first commercial break as we patiently wait for the football players. I see we've got some Glen coaches and athletic directors sitting over on the side, so the important people are here.
That's right. Hey, we do need to get some of these coaches on, Mike. I want to find out what it's all about this year.
I would like to, when we come back from commercial break, I'd like to see if Mr. Keith Walker would come over here and talk about his soccer program when we come back from our. So let's go ahead and take our first commercial break, Mr. Donnie Baldridge, and when we come back, we'll have Keith Walker.
Hey, it's Big E, and I'm here with the 2013 Barbecue Pitmasters Alabama champions, Ricky Wayne and Pig Daddy of Bibbs Downtown. Gentlemen, what's it like being reality stars?
Hey, it's almost as good as Bibbs Ribs, baby.
We're not Eastern or Western. We're Western.
I'll tell you one thing, I never trust a skinny cook, and these guys got it going on.
Hey, you can bring your family in, or if you like Biggie, come on in on Friday and get your Bibbs fixed.
It's barbecue with a downtown vibe.
They've got dine-in, takeout, catering, and a private event space. Be sure to follow them on Twitter and Facebook, and you can always check them out at BibbsDowntown.com.
We're back live at Bibbs Downtown in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for tonight's sports talk on TriadSportsCoverage.com. It is Glen Bobcat night. That was a mouthful, Donnie. I have 2 special guests. Was that a bobcat I hear? Make sure they're on the TV show Mountain Men, they'll get shot. So, but we have, and I call these gentlemen special because I've gotten to know the coaching staffs at Glenn High School over the last 3+ years, and for a media person, in order to do stories or to be able to tell what's going on in the athletic area of school, you got to have coaches that are willing to deal with you and talk to you. And I've developed a great relationship with all of them. And these first two, Coach Keith Walker of the soccer program, head coach, and Mr. Rick Bright, who coaches women's and men's golf.
Yes, sir.
So we'll start with Mr. Bright. I know you had a match ready to go last week, and Mother Nature said we're going to keep the temperature so high you can't come out. So the school system very wisely eliminated any activities in the outdoors. But I think you were telling me a little information that you have all of a sudden gotten another match, like at the last moment, for tomorrow evening or afternoon.
We do. We last week I've been after these two schools for the last couple years, and they're not in our conference for South Country Day and Grimsley. Non-conference opponents, and it would have been a first time for us with those programs, and they've historically been very, very good golf programs. And then heat restrictions were implemented, and the thing that our girls were, and everybody, Coach Weevil and myself included, were a little bit disappointed is they weren't on heat restrictions. So unfortunately we were the folks that had to kind of drive the bus with that decision, but we also have developed a relationship with Coach John Rawls at Ledford, and they've got last couple of years that they've had a very successful women's golf program as well, and we practice at least half the time at the same track, Meadowlands Golf Club down off of 109, and one thing led to another in the course of the conversation since we started practice on the 4th of August, and it really kind of came to fruition about 2 hours ago that we were going to put our teams together and have a match tomorrow. So we'll actually have our first official match tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Be at Meadowlands about 3:30, and they still have some pretty good golfers there. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
Well, that sounds interesting. I know these athletes. You practice, but there's nothing quite like the real competition, because that brings out the Friday night football game. I'm sure those guys were just chomping at the bit to really strap those helmets on and go out there and play, which they played very well. Mm-hmm. So it was fun. I want to turn to Mr. Walker. Keith and I had a conversation in preseason, went over to one of your practice sessions, and I got to say, Mr. Walker, I really admire, seriously, your coaching style and how you handle the kids, because soccer it's a different sport. And it's not glamorous as far as you don't fill up a stadium on Friday nights. But as I observed your practice session that one really hot day, how attentive those young men were, and how much they enjoyed being together, and they all said, "Well, you make it fun. The coach makes it fun." So let's talk a little bit about what is your coaching philosophy, and then we'll get into how your season has started.
Well, I guess the major point of my coaching philosophy is that I approach everything as a winning attitude, and whether it be in life, in the classroom, and on the field. And you have to live every moment of your life with that type of an attitude. So for me, a practice session is about building that type of mentality, and also building competitiveness within the session. And you want it to be hard work, but they have to enjoy the hard work in order to, enjoy the soft stuff on game night. Soccer's a little different in the sense that game night is a 7 to 10 mile run every night, and so practice is somewhat the same way. There's it's nonstop. A lot of, we go from drill to drill to drill, a lot of possession, and a lot of competitiveness. You're trying to win a spot every time you step on the field. And my mentality and what I want my players to have is that everything you do has to be a competition, and you can't feel comfortable with the position that you have. Someone needs to be pushing you. And I want players who are not even full-time or, they're substitutes, but I want them to feel like if they work hard enough and they beat out the person ahead of them, they're going to get that spot. So I don't want players to ever feel too comfortable with the position they're in. I want them to always be pushed. And so that's the practice session that you watched was about that mentality. So,
well, it was interesting, and I know those kids were absolutely spent when they got through with that one drill at the end, pushing those tires and all that. But they were smiling, happy, cheering on each other. And I think sometimes as an amateur athletic program, high school, middle school, you lose sight of the fact that it needs to be fun. I mean, you want to win. Winning is the goal, but everybody can't win every single game. But if you can walk off that field and congratulate the winners and congratulate your teammates and know that we're all pulling together, I mean, and that teaches a lesson, I think, in life is that every time you go somewhere, like for a job interview, you're not going to win. You learn how to cope with it. And I think, you've got some, and you have a diverse background of players.
Very much so.
But I think they love their sport, and I think you're a good leader. So is Coach Bright. I'm just amazed at how some of these teams can function, how they all respect their coaches, because not every young person around wants anybody to tell them what to do. So you guys do a tremendous job.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about we had talked about the Forsyth Cup back 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I know you had high hopes. You were optimistic about trying to make some noise in the Forsyth Cup, and it didn't quite go, I think, the way that we had hoped it was going to go. But tell us how that ordeal came down and whatever.
Well, I mean, it was a tough start. We had 3 games, and in each game we lost by a goal. We started out really strong in game 1. We had 2 goals in the first 11 minutes. And I think the kids got a little bit of goal happy. It was like cattle running to water in a lot of ways. And instead of playing possession, controlled soccer after those first 2 quick goals, we got into a gallop for about 30 minutes. And that forced us to get out of shape. Defensively, our transition to defense from offense wasn't very good, left some holes, and that opened up the ability for North to move the ball through the field, the midfield rather easily. So with that being said, they got the game to a tied situation before half, and in the second half, I talked, we got settled down. We played fairly well in the second half, better possession, controlled the game a little bit better. But at the same time, I don't think that bus is going to be able to park in here.
I was going to say.
It's a football team.
Big vehicle.
But with that being said, we gave them an own goal. They had a ball it bounced right in front of our center back, and as he stepped up, I'm yelling from the bench, no, because I could see the ball coming down behind him, and as the ball's coming down behind him, one of our players, our holding mid, is running back to recover, and the ball hit his foot and went straight into the goal. So we gave up an own goal. And then in game 2, we lost to Reynolds. Again, we took the lead 1-0, and then they went up 2-1, and then we tied it 2-2. And then there was a situation at the end that was there was an injury. The official stopped play, and he did not blow the whistle to restart play and let them shoot the ball, and they kicked it right in the goal.
Oh,
and
wow.
He didn't change his call, even though it happens, and it's part of the game. So that's how we lost that one. And then we played West, and we had a handball in the box at a zip score. And so we lost 3 tough ways to lose a soccer match. So, but all in all, the kids, they kept a positive attitude. They played hard. One of the problems we've had early on right now is our midfield play is not there yet. And that is an area of the field where we lost a lot of key players to graduation. So while we have some quality players, these are positions they're not used to. Mm-hmm. So they're having to learn that center mid position. And once they do, I think we'll settle down and start to play some good soccer.
Well, I know last year and the year before you made it to the state playoffs. You went down to William Huff High School. And
twice.
They've got, I think, some D1 players now that have graduated from there. They're definitely a great program, they're great facilities. But it would be nice if we could go somewhere else or somebody could come here and play us in the state playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously, our goal is always to make those playoffs, and we definitely would like to get a home match, or at least one that's a little bit closer. I enjoy going down to Huff. They're fine people. They're a very good host, except for the fact they don't let us win. And so I would like for someone to come to our facility and let us be the host and win one. So that's definitely our goal this year.
And speaking of playoffs, Coach Bright and I have been to Pinehurst the last 2 falls with the couple of young ladies from the Lady Cat Golf program.
Yes, we have.
And I know your goal is to get a team qualified, and that's a challenge, because the region you play in, there's a lot of good teams around here. But these young ladies that I saw play, of course, you've lost Taylor Strasburg to graduation, but now you got Savannah Gilbert, I guess, is kind of carrying the torch as a leader because she stepped up last year and made her way to Pinehurst. And, these golfers, and I'm sure both of you play golf, you just don't wake up someday and start playing good golf. So explain how these young ladies, so some of them never played golf until a year ago maybe, and all of a sudden they started loving the game. And there's some correlation between, of course, I talked to down the middle Dale about this, big softball and golf. So why don't you explain a little bit how your tactics are when you talk to these young ladies who walk in and never played golf before?
You've teed up a lot of things for me. Pardon the pun.
Okay.
In terms of somebody coming in that really has not any golf experience, and hopefully I'll remember to segue into the softball. But that's what I enjoy. That's part of what I enjoy about coaching, is you have a clean slate. A, B, you've got 14, 15, 16-year-old young lady that can actually understand and process what we're trying to get them to do. And golf coaches tend to steal stuff from other golf coaches. So anything that I say, I promise you, I've either stole a lot from Dale, but it's just things that we read and things that make sense and resonate well with us and that kind of. And we just try to keep it simple. When we're talking about the swing or we're talking about a strategy or whatever. And we've I've had that conversation a couple times with Savannah, but also had that conversation in terms of trying to what we call dial your wedges in to understand how far you hit a certain wedge, and usually the ladies are carrying 3 in their bag, and so in various swing positions, we want them to understand, all other things being equal, how far they hit it, based on certain things. And we've given them a grid, and we tend to sometimes, at least I do, tend to turn it into a geometry type of math problem, which I don't know if Eileen's here or not. She might get a kick out of that. But I talk about those kinds of things, and when they work, they work well. And I was out this past summer playing with Bailey Coble and her dad, and we had just, like 2 holes before, had talked about this little analysis of your wedges and so on and so forth, and it has to do with kind of using a clock as a point of reference, and your left arm is at 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on your backswing, and then you just follow through instead of taking a full swing. And so 2 holes later, Bailey had hit a very good shot, but she was kind of in the woods. And I said, listen, take your medicine, chip out, and just get to a distance where you're comfortable. And she chipped out, and she's probably 30, 40 yards from the green. And I just remembered we had talked about it, and I said, Bailey, what time is it? And she looked at me, and she kind of, scrunched her face, and then she went, oh, it's 7 o'clock. I said, exactly. And she stuck it about 1.5 feet from the pin and putted it out for par. It was on a par 4. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's what we're talking about here. So, things like that we go through, and I'm sure Keith goes through somewhat similar kind of things with the guys. But those are some of the things. And to segue into the softball, we started our program, quite honestly, in large part because of Dale. He knew Taylor, and he also knew Samantha Stilling, who played softball at the time. And the neat thing about girls golf is softball's in the spring. and girls golf is in the fall. So we kind of rated the softball team and have kind of kept that going a little bit because except for a little bit of the change in the swing plane and, the mechanics can be very, very similar. And we try to use that, especially with the folks coming out from softball, to try to get them to understand what we want them to do as far as the golf swing and on the golf course.
Whatever you're doing, it's working because you've both you and Coach Walker have turned some mediocre athletes into some pretty good athletes, and I want to say that it's evident when you watch them. And Coach Walker has what I consider probably the best goalkeeper in a wide area around here. And but I will say to you and to Evander that not all goals are scored because of the goalkeeper.
That is correct.
I've told there's 10 more guys out there that can help you, and when your defense falls asleep, and I know a lot of times a fan will say, "Well, your goalkeeper is horrible." Well, if everything's one-on-one, and everybody's watching them, he can get pretty terrible in a hurry.
The odds are in the advantage of the offense. In that place.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a break. Let you two gentlemen get back over to your. I know you're gossiping with Mr. Dale Weevil, so and I know you're going to learn a lot because I did. I learned an awful lot about his family on a ride down to Charlotte this summer. So, but I appreciate you guys supporting us coming out here tonight. We have a great crowd here. We got still football players trying to find their way in the door. I really appreciate it. It's means a lot to me. It's no secret that Glenn is my school. That's what I cover. And I appreciate everything you guys have done to make what I do even better. So it's, you've made my website, like I said at graduation, or over 2.5 million hits in the 3 years. So, and most of those are attributed to Bobcat fans. So,
well, you play, from my perspective, you play a big part in that as well, and you put together a quality product, and we're blessed that you think enough of us to include us into what you're doing, and you're very supportive of not only the girls but the guys team as well. So thank you, Mike.
Appreciate both of you stopping by.
Thank you very much. All of your work. Absolutely.
That's Keith Walker, the head soccer coach, and Rick Bright, the head golf coach at Glen High School. We're going to take our break, and I think we have a lot of football players up front. So let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll draw that first number.
Is your business going to die alone? Never meet the customers of its dreams? Just sit on the couch crying into a carton of ice cream while other businesses are out there thriving? New Expression can help. Without the right marketing, you're a wallflower. Without a great website, you're not going to turn heads. And without social media, you don't even have a friend to tell people what a great personality you have. New Expression can give your business a total brand makeover and get you out there, attracting customers. It used to be about who had the biggest ad in the phone book. Today, customers hit the web to locate and research before they call. If Google isn't steering customers to your site or they're not impressed by what they see, you're missing out. New Expression does web design and can provide a free analysis to see how your site stacks up against the competition. Don't have time to constantly update social media? Want cool custom apps and graphics? New Expression can help there too. From print design to mobile marketing to online presence to brand identity, New Expression can help you express yourself. Find out more at nuexpression.com.
Today, community means more than the place you live. It's groups of people connected by shared interests and similar experiences. Your yoga class, your work colleagues, your book club. With all the communities in your life, shouldn't there be one for your financial life? We're First Community, financial experts here to work with you on your personal, business, investments, and insurance needs. That's the power of community.
We are back at Bibbs Downtown in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for Glen Bobcat Night on Sports Talk. And there's that Bobcat. I don't even see him running around the school. Where did you find that Bobcat? We had announced at the beginning of the show we're going to give away 2 $25 gift certificates for Bibbs Downtown. And we also said we would draw the first number at 7 o'clock. And you know what time it is? As Coach Bright just said, it's 7 o'clock. So if you can hear me and you have one of these numbers that we gave out, since around 6:30 we started giving out numbers. The first $25 gift certificate winner is number 104. Now the winner has to appear on the show before she goes home. Miss Michaela Smith, who is a volleyball player, and Coach Carmichael was looking at me like it was fixed because she wanted to win. But Michaela Smith, who plays softball and volleyball, has won a $25 gift certificate. Congratulations. We'll have her on the show here a little bit later. But right now we have two of Coach Bright's golf stars. I'm going to let each one of them introduce themselves, starting with the one to my left.
I'm Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith
And I'm Bailey Coble.
Now, both of you play for the Lady Cats, and tomorrow you're going to have a real live match, I guess, if things go well, which you just found out about. Tell me, Maggie, how long have you been playing golf?
About 1.5 years now.
So just 1.5 years. What prompted you to take up golf?
My dad's been trying to get me to play since I was in 3rd grade, so finally I just gave in.
Is it as fun as it looks? I know it's pretty hot out there sometimes, but is it fun?
It is really fun. It just gets frustrating sometimes, but it's a big mental game, so you just can't let it get to your head.
And Coach Bright's bringing me, he actually gives me your names. Maggie Smith, Bailey Coble, and Sierra Hurley is somewhere here. She'll be on in a few minutes. Now, Bailey, Coach Bright was talking about playing golf with you and your dad. Mm-hmm. Do you get some tips from Coach Bright when you're out there playing just in a friendly competition?
Not officially.
Not officially, but he'll tell you if you're doing something wrong, maybe?
Yeah.
Now, how long have you played golf?
Like 3 years.
So you're kind of a seasoned veteran. You've got it all down pat, right?
No.
Do you play a lot of golf with your dad?
Yeah, we play a lot.
And is he pretty good?
No.
You may not want to say that. Maybe he's not as good as he wants to be. Let's put it that way.
He's all right.
What is the, Maggie, I'll ask you, what is your highlight of playing golf at Glenn? What really stands out?
I'm not quite sure. It'd probably just be like enjoying playing. I enjoy playing with the girls and like getting to know them, and we become really close as a team, whether we like play like crap one day or play like really awesome. It's just we become a family.
And Bailey, you play softball.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me the difference in how you approach a golf match versus how you approach a softball game.
Well, golf is more on your own, and softball, it's a team effort.
So there is an individual challenge on a golf course. You're trying to beat the person that you're playing against. But also, overall, there's a team score involved to help the team. So the better you do as an individual, the better we do as a team, right?
Right.
What would you say is more fulfilling to you, playing golf or being in a great softball game and be getting that game-winning hit or whatever? Now, be careful because Coach Weevil is right across the table looking at you.
I kind of like them both the same.
You like both of them?
Yeah.
Now, golf is a game that obviously you don't outgrow golf. And we talk about when you go to college and you start, you become an adult and you have a family. Coach Bright talks about his business deals on golf courses over the years. Mm-hmm. And coming from a business background, I remember some of those outings with people, and a lot is decided on a golf course. Do you think you can use this as a tool for you as you get older and maybe you get out in the business world and you may be in sales or marketing or public relations? This is a way you can also entertain customers, and is it you consider it a plus?
Definitely.
We are getting bombarded for blank paper, I'll bet. But Maggie, you say you've played golf about 1.5 years. Did it kind of come natural, or did you struggle? Did you kind of figure out how to hit the ball and how to swing?
Yeah, mostly. My swing came pretty natural, and I've been told that I guess I'm pretty ahead of the game for a beginner, but I guess that's just because, as my dad says, it runs in our blood. So.
Well, I know golf can be very frustrating when you're having trouble on a given match and it just gets to you. But if you make that one good shot, it's what kind of keeps you saying, "I can do this." Yeah,
once you make a good shot, it's like, I don't know, it reboosts your energy and you're feel a lot better about it. Because if you just when you start just making a ton of bad shots, it's because your head's all in it and you're just overthinking it. And I'll get out there and I'll take 12 minutes to hit one shot almost because I'm sitting there thinking about my arms, my hands, not what I'm doing. I'm just thinking about my placement. when really I should just be thinking about getting the ball closer to the hole.
Now, Bailey, when you have a bad shot, is it difficult to recompose yourself and know that, okay, you want to make the best of a bad situation?
Yeah, well, you're supposed to just let it go and forget about it, but it's a lot easier said than done.
Very.
And some of the teams that you play, particularly in the Forsyth County area and in the Piedmont Triad Conference, they have a lot of talented, really good golfers, and I'm sure you've played against some of them. Is there any conversation during the matches you're walking with someone from, say, Reynolds or Mount Tabor or West Forsyth or Northwest? Is that when you get to know some of the other kids? Because there's a lot of downtime between you hit a ball here and you walk for 3-4 minutes, and then do you prefer to keep to yourself?
No, we have a lot of golf friendships with the different teams. Like us and East are really close together, and by the end of the season, we're all really close.
See, that's an interesting comparison, Glenn and East being friends. There's not a lot of sports where they can say we love each other, I guess. But it's all great competition. So tomorrow you'll be taking on another pretty good team, Ledford. I think they've won quite a few matches. They have a good history in golf at Ledford High School. You looking forward to showing what you can do tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to say good luck to you, and we're going to try to be out there, maybe get a picture or two. Would that be okay? We don't bother you when we're taking pictures, do we?
No, you don't.
Well, thank
Just
you.
try to get a good picture this time.
Try to get a good picture this time.
Yeah, my pictures were bad last year.
Really? I only went to one golf match. I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, probably because I was bad last year.
Well, we're going to do what we can tomorrow to get some pictures, and I want to say good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for stopping by, Maggie Smith and Barry Coble.
Thank you very
We're
much.
going to go to a commercial break. Thank you.
Hey, it's Big E, and I'm here with the 2013 Barbecue Pitmasters Alabama champions, Ricky Wayne and Pig Daddy of Bibbs Downtown. Gentlemen, what's it like being reality stars?
Hey, it's almost as good as Bibbs Ribs, baby.
We're not Eastern or Western, we're Western.
I'll tell you one thing, I never trust a skinny cook, and these guys got it going on.
Hey, you can bring your family in, or if you like Biggie, come on in on Friday and get your bibs fixed.
It's barbecue with a downtown vibe.
They've got dine-in, takeout, catering, and a private event space. Be sure to follow them on Twitter and Facebook, and you can always check them out at bibsdowntown.com.
And we are back, Sports Talk on TriadSportsCoverage.com for the Glen Bobcat edition. And I'm joined now by, there's that Bobcat. I'm going to see if I can talk Michaela into giving me that gift card that we just handed to her. But we have Michaela Smith and Karen Foley, the female athlete at Glen High School. Welcome to our show, to both of you.
Thank you.
Now, how's your volleyball season? I went to one match and I've been tied up, but how's it been going?
It's been going really good. I think we're definitely going to be stronger than last year already, and we are 2-1 right now. We have a game tomorrow, so we're really excited.
Now, who do you play tomorrow?
Reynolds. And we just played them Thursday and beat them in 4 sets, so we're hoping to do that in 3 tomorrow night.
Is that your plan, Miss Foley?
That's always the goal, to put everybody down.
And I've probably asked you this 1,000 times, but you play various sports. Both of you play softball. What does volleyball do for you? I know it's a sport that keeps you active. I think you told me one time it keeps you doing something, but what do you get out of playing volleyball?
In general, it's just fun. Footwork helps, and all the sports that you play, they all relate. Just being coachable and having fun with a bunch of other girls, being a part of a team.
Michaela?
Yeah, it's also very fun. It keeps us in shape off season, and it does have a lot of mechanics the same as softball, so it helps a lot.
Now, both of you are softball players, and you're both very good softball players. Volleyball is obviously indoor sport. You go out and play softball, and you play travel sports, I'm sure both of you too. How does a student athlete in high school manage the time to, first of all, remain eligible and get those good grades, because they both want to go to college, I'm sure? How difficult is it to maintain that consistency in your grades, and also being at practice every day, and being a performer during the game time? Is that something difficult? Because do you kind of think maybe those that don't play sports maybe are missing out on what maybe a lesson you learned by having to budget your time and manage what you're doing?
Well, grades always come first, and then you go to practice after school, and that's your chance to get away from all your classes and be set free. And then after practice, you have the chance to go home and be with your family, but you have to get your homework done. Sometimes you end up just staying up late, having to text your friend, hey, how do you do this? Can you help explain it? But it just turns out to be a lot of late nights. Sometimes you're almost jealous of the kids that don't play sports. And man, they get to go home after school and relax and do their homework and get to bed early. But it's worth it.
But the reward is, is tremendous. I mean, every successful person pays the price to be successful. Mm-hmm. And I think being involved in sports and working hard at it is, you pay that price, but you also reap the benefits. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, a lot.
Tomorrow night's game will be at home. We're going to try to make it after the golf match up to see you play again. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you can win another match for us.
I hope so.
Now, are you going to bring your dad or somebody to dinner with the card we gave you?
Yeah.
Or no, Karen says she's going to come to dinner with you with it.
Maybe me and Karen will just go to dinner.
Dinner date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet your coach would be real happy if you shared it with her, but you can't do that. Does she look at you guys that mean during practice the way she looks at me? I mean, it's like I can feel the eyes go right through me. We're going to take another short break. I want to thank both of you for coming down.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
We really appreciate the support that all you athletes give our website. It's fun for us. We just have a great time. And what about that football game Friday night? Wasn't that cool?
That was so much fun.
Yeah,
Wasn't
that
that
was
great?
awesome.
Of course, the lightning kind of screwed things up,
yeah.
but I was really impressed with how they came out of the gate playing.
Oh, yeah.
And I've talked to Coach Payne a few times, and he kept saying, we're not very big, but we're fast. And
they were fast.
They've got some fast. We could use that speed on the base path in softball, couldn't we?
Yeah, right.
We used to have one in what's her name? Haynes, Tracy Haynes.
Tracy, yeah.
She could go from first to third in a half a second. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're going to take a short break. And again, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Good luck in your volleyball and also in your softball season.
Thank you.
That was Michaela Smith and Karen Foley. We're going to take a short break.
Is your business going to die alone? Never meet the customers of its dreams? Just sit on the couch crying into a carton of ice cream while other businesses are out there thriving? New Expression can help. Without the right marketing, you're a wallflower. Without a great website, you're not going to turn heads. And without social media, you don't even have a friend to tell people what a great personality you have. New Expression can give your business a total brand makeover and get you out there, attracting customers. It used to be about who had the biggest ad in the phone book. Today, customers hit the web to locate and research before they call. If Google isn't steering customers to your site or they're not impressed by what they see, you're missing out. New Expression does web design and can provide a free analysis to see how your site stacks up against the competition. Don't have time to constantly update social media? Want cool custom apps and graphics? New Expression can help there too. From print design to mobile marketing to online presence to brand identity, New Expression can help you express yourself. Find out more at nuexpression.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on TriadSportsCoverage.com at Bibbs Downtown in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We have another duo of volleyball talent. One's a coach, one's a player. And I've got Carly Mackey and Coach Carmichael. But I want to start off by saying a word to Carly about, we did an interview with you, and we taped it and put it on the website.
Yeah.
And I was talking to your dad at the next volleyball match. And you were so professional and so articulate, and I'm thinking, this young lady she's going to go far because and you were so confident in the way you were talking. So it was, I don't grade these things, but that was an A+ interview.
Oh, well, thank you.
And then on the other hand, I interviewed your coach, and that was an A+ because the coach is always right.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll be playing college volleyball somewhere.
Yes, somewhere. I haven't committed anywhere yet, but I'm definitely looking. My plan was to commit by the end of season, but there's still some things we're trying to work out. My goal is still in play, but we just got to see how everything.
College team somewhere. I've enjoyed watching you play over the last few years at Glenn, and I know that as we talk about volleyball, all these individual sports are different sports. They all take different talent levels, different skill levels. And I'm going to ask Coach Carmichael, because you're a former athlete in softball. These players come out. What sets someone like Carly apart from the majority of players that maybe come out?
I think her dedication and her hard work, I think, set her apart from other.
Hard work is that's one thing that coaches love. If you're willing to work hard, a lot of times hard work can overcome
talent,
some lack of talent against better teams, better athletes.
Definitely.
And I guess it's all how much do you want to win that particular match, game, or whatever. And I think, I think you agree, Coach Carmichael, is that you take that lesson after you leave about working hard.
Oh yeah, because college only gets harder as far as workouts.
And I've said this many times about what these coaches do. And for those sitting at home that think coaching is just an afterthought for these people, it's not. It's really. And that's their impression of the coaches, is what happens on that 2 hours during the game. They don't realize how much work is going on to get to that point. So I've learned to really admire the coaching profession. And besides that, you all teach.
Yes.
Like you got 2 full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And we know you get overpaid, right? as teachers and coaches.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to get a little bit personal with Coach Carmichael just because I've known her for a while, but you've got a young daughter, Adrian, and I've seen her play, youth volleyball, seen her grow and grow and grow. And I saw her play in her first match. It must make you feel really proud to see how she's matured and how she's getting, better at her sports. And I was impressed when I watched her play. Just she fit right in with these girls. And it must make you feel pretty good to know that she's, I guess, kind of following your footsteps as an athlete.
Yeah, it does make me feel good. She's still young and does a lot of young freshman mistake kind of things, but she's growing with the girls, and I think she fits in well with them, just getting them to adapt to her and her to adapt to them, learning to play together.
Now, Carly, realistically this year in the conference, what do you think we can expect from the Lady Cats?
Well, last year we didn't have, the record that we would want. I think this year we're more comfortable with each other, and we know how each other, play, so we're able to mesh more. And I think with that, we're going to be able to get more wins because we're able to work more together. And that's, 30 feet, 6 girls, that's not a lot of space. You need to talk. And since we're able to talk more, then that's going to produce better play.
How do you, what are the types of communication you have on a volleyball court? You can hear baseball players, they'll tell you that the pitcher's throwing it back to first to get back, that kind of. But what do you do on a volleyball court where it's almost nonstop action? As soon as that ball hits, they serve it again. Yeah. I know alignment is critical. Mm-hmm. Proper alignment is even more critical. Now, do you find your teammates accepting that I guess we would call it on-the-court type of coaching? Do they accept that and they know that some of you girls have been there before? It's not like you're demeaning them, but you're trying to make everybody pull that rope in the same direction. Yeah,
a lot of our girls, basically all of our girls are very competitive, and we want to win. And they understand, if me or if another one of the girls is to say something, we don't mean it to be mean, and they understand that, and they use that to make it better. So I think that knowing that, it helps a lot more so they don't take it personally and they use it to make themselves better throughout the game.
Now I'm going to ask Coach Carmichael about how difficult is it to say just enough but not too much to a player, because every kid responds to criticism, praise differently. You know, is that kind of a fine line as a coach you have to learn? And every year you get new players, you got to learn over again how I deal with this particular individual.
Yes, it's definitely something you have to learn and adapt to for each individual person. I guess most of my girls being returning players this year, it makes that easier this year because I know what makes them work hard or what drives them, that kind of thing. I know what to say to them. I know how hard I can be on each individual person. And they're all competitive and they all want to win, so that helps because they're an easy group to coach because they're very coachable girls.
Well, I want to wish you both good luck this year and hope we can cover a few of your matches. We might even broadcast one of your matches, which would be unique for me, broadcasting a volleyball match. We could maybe get Mr. Mackey to do the play-by-play. What do you think? As Carly breaks out into a laugh. Well, he's raised you on a volleyball court. He has to know the sport.
I mean, yeah, I've played 7 years competitively, so it's in my blood. So.
Or we could just take one of your star players and sit them out. You could discipline them, say, you got to sit out today, and I'll bring them up in the broadcast booth.
No.
Probably not.
My dad can do the play-by-play. That's okay.
But we definitely looking forward to your season and hope for good things. We'll be rooting for you. And we appreciate you coming down here from Kernersville to spend a few minutes with Triad Sports Coverage. As we've told the other coaches, we were really grateful for how you have accepted us as part of the Bobcat family. We just, as we said, Glenn is our high school, and that's who we cover. And without having great athletes and great coaches who are willing to, sometimes we get in your way and you don't yell at us, you don't push us across the court. But we have a great time, and when it's all said and done, it's about these young players and getting their name and their face out on the website. So I want to I appreciate that. And Coach Carmichael, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but you are my favorite coach now there.
I always knew it.
Hey, it's okay. She's my favorite coach, too. So.
Well, she should be. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to try to round up Mr. Marty Stanley. I saw him wandering around. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be having another drawing here shortly, but let's go to a commercial, and we'll get our next guest. Thank you, Coach Carmichael, and thank you, Carly.
Today, community means more than the place you live. It's groups of people connected by shared interests and similar experiences. Your yoga class, your work colleagues, your book club. With all the communities in your life, shouldn't there be one for your financial life? We're First Community, financial experts here to work with you on your personal, business, investments, and insurance needs. That's the power of community.
Hey, it's Big E, and I'm here with the 2013 Barbecue Pitmasters Alabama champions, Ricky Wayne and Pig Daddy of Bibbs Downtown. Gentlemen, what's it like being reality stars?
Hey, it's almost as good as Bibbs Ribs, baby.
We're not Eastern or Western, we're Western.
I'll tell you one thing, I never trust a skinny cook, and these guys got it going on.
Hey, you can bring your family in, or if you like Biggie, come on in on Friday and get your bibs fixed.
It's barbecue with a downtown vibe.
They've got dine-in, takeout, catering, and a private event space. Be sure to follow them on Twitter and Facebook, and you can always check them out at bibsdowntown.com.
Where is the Bobcat? There he is. Welcome back to Sports Talk, Ben Bobcat Night here in Bibbs Downtown in Winston-Salem. We have been joined by two football players from the varsity Bobcat program. I'm going to have them each one introduce who they are.
Well, I'll go first. I'm Donald Carter. Donald Carter Jr. to be exact. Number 24 of the Glen High varsity. So.
Jamarcus Chalmers, number 21 varsity.
And gentlemen, we had quite a game Friday night. Of course, the weather kind of played havoc on it. But what are your impressions? Because from my perspective and my other broadcasters, we were pretty impressed with the overall game. I mean, yeah, there were a lot of mistakes, but it was the first game of the year. But I remember seeing number 24 out there making a lot of tackles. And, of course, your offense and your running backs are like, nobody's going to touch them. But what was I know the coaches probably got into you a little bit about some things. I know your dad wants you to be the very best you can be. But, Donald, what did you take away from Friday night's win?
I mean, I took a lot from the game Friday. You know, a lot of the kids that came up from JV last year, they actually showed me a lot and showed me they weren't going to give up and they was going to keep fighting all four quarters.
Now, this week, when you're going to face a pretty tough football team in West Forsyth, I mean, they have perennial state playoff contenders. Is it going to be a tough week at practice, you think?
It is. It's going to be a very tough week because we don't have any time to make mistakes.
Is that true? Is that the way you look at it?
Very. We got to be near perfect. It's a very good team.
Now, Coach Payne has talked a lot about lack of size since I've talked to him in the summer. Do you notice when you're on the field, if you're up against a guy and he might outweigh you 30, 40 pounds, that doesn't really concern you, does it? Because you're going to try to take him down either way.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, It really don't matter who's in my way. I'm trying to get to the ball.
Because what they say, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. So if you could be outmanned physically, but if you got the heart and desire that you're going to win that particular tackle on that play, you're going to do it, right?
Yes, sir.
And if you don't, and you come to the sideline, you're probably going to hear about it, right?
Most definitely.
So how long have you been playing football?
Since I was 6.
6 years old.
I've been playing with him since I was like 9.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're good friends, I suppose.
Very.
So, DC, of course, your dad's a football player, and I know that it runs in the family that everybody's going to be he's going to be an athlete. Did it surprise you at all Friday night of how, of course, Parkland turned the ball over on the kickoff, and that, I can remember in past years where that happened the other way.
Yes, sir.
And once we made a turnover and dug ourselves in a little bit of a hole, it just kept getting deeper and deeper. So the one thing I would take away from Friday night's game is it's very critical that you score first. You send them a message that you're here to play. So is that something that we think we can do against West Forsyth?
Yes, we can. West Forsyth, they're a very good team, but they're not as disciplined as I've seen on the film as they were last year. This year, they actually have athletes, but those athletes take teams like Glenn lightly, and they don't need to do that.
I know Coach Payne has mentioned that a lot of times about people kind of put a target on Glenn because they're used to being able to push you around, but I think this year, and one game doesn't make a season, to win one game, and that's not the end of the year, but I'm sure it felt a lot better walking in the school hall today knowing that you won Friday than if you'd have gotten beat real.
Yeah,
it did.
Now, do you sense that as you, today was your first day of school, did the student body, did they recognize that, hey, we got a winning football program, we won a football game? And
I mean, it was Parkland, so they're not really.
They want to say.
They want to see.
Show me what you can do when you play somebody really good.
Yeah.
Well, I know it was fun for us to watch. It's always fun to watch the coaches, and Coach Payne, he's always really been he can be quiet for a few minutes, and all of a sudden something happens he doesn't like. He's going to let you know.
It's like outside of football, he's a very nice man. But when he gets inside the lines, he's very bipolar.
Well, he wants to win, and he knows that you guys want to win, and you deserve to win, and it obviously takes hard work. The Glenn Athletic Program as a whole, we've had some golfers, we had the volleyball players. Do you sense that maybe the program can maybe start on the upward swing and maybe start winning? Because, if you get in the habit of winning, it's kind of contagious. And, because you can win a game as easy as you can lose a game. So you don't want to lose, you want to win.
Yeah.
So do you guys talk about that as teammates, that we want to bring a winning attitude every time we go on the field?
I mean, just how we play. We should always expect to win. That's a must.
You just got to have the mindset of winning. You can't go into any game thinking like, oh, we might not win, or we have to play 100% correct to win. You have to have the mindset that you're going in that game to win.
I got to say, make a couple comments about your dad, Donald Carter Sr. He is so much fun to watch as a spectator, even in practice or in a game. Do you see yourself doing that, being that way in 10 years from now, DC?
Actually, I don't see myself being that way, but maybe being on my son like that, maybe. Not being a coach, being like that.
How does he differentiate the son versus player, it's difficult, I think, probably for him because he knows how good you can be.
Yeah.
And I don't think you know yet how good you can be. And that's a compliment. I'm not putting you down, but I don't think you know yet just how good you can be. And he does because he's been there and he's done that. And when he speaks from experience. And I know it's probably difficult for him to know that he's yelling at his kid, but he's doing it as a coach first. Do you take it that way? And
I've had to learn to take it that way because now, like my freshman year, I really didn't understand the player and coach relationship that me and my dad had. But as soon as I started playing varsity, I noticed it, and now it's just I take that constructive criticism, and just go with it.
Well, I want to wish both of you good luck throughout this season. It was an exciting start. I think that's how you get people interested, and you get some interest in the program, and you build up some fan following, and hopefully we can continue on that road this week. I want to thank both of you for coming down here. I know you had practice tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
Was it a tough practice?
No, not really. It was just we're actually finding out what West is going to do, what they can do. And it was just pretty much straight walkthroughs, even though we still had to run after practice.
Well, thank both of you for stopping by and coming down here. I really appreciate it. We look forward to the remainder of the football season. I think we're going to take another short commercial break.
Is your business going to die alone? Never meet the customers of its dreams? Just sit on the couch crying into a carton of ice cream while other businesses are out there thriving? New Expression can help. Without the right marketing, you're a wallflower. Without a great website, you're not going to turn heads. And without social media, you don't even have a friend to tell people what a great personality you have. New Expression can give your business a total brand makeover and get you out there, attracting customers. It used to be about who had the biggest ad in the phone book. Today, customers hit the web to locate and research before they call. If Google isn't steering customers to your site or they're not impressed by what they see, you're missing out. New Expression does web design and can provide a free analysis to see how your site stacks up against the competition. Don't have time to constantly update social media? Want cool custom apps and graphics? New Expression can help there too. From print design to mobile marketing to online presence to brand identity, New Expression can help you express yourself. Find out more at nuexpression.com.
And we are back at Bibbs downtown for the August 25th edition of Sports Talk on TriadSportsCoverage.com. Our usual co-host, Mr. Alec Hodges, obviously is not here this evening. He is down the street at BB&T Park doing the public address announcing for the Winston-Salem Dash. But he will be on the air Friday night when we bring you Glenn Bobcat football when they host the West Forsyth Titans in a interesting matchup. We have two new guests here, and I'm going to let each one of them introduce yourselves to the world.
Okay.
You are?
Cherry Smith.
And what position do you play?
Offensive tackle.
And this distinguished young man at the end,
Coach Stevenson, offensive coordinator.
Coach Stevenson. And I'm going to start with you, Coach Stevenson, because, we've talked about this year's football team, and Coach Payne has said that don't have a lot of size, but we're going to be exciting. And if you had to wish for three running backs that you could build an offense around, would these three you have currently be pretty high on your list?
Yes, sir. That was my wish. My wish was granted. So pretty happy right now.
You've got three young men their speed is unbelievable.
Yes.
And I'm sure that affects how you call the offense. You've got to utilize the talent you have. But how are you going to approach this year's game plans versus what you did in the previous years at Glenn?
In the past, it's been more of a power game, where now is just make the big guys catches. So we're more of a outside perimeter team now, where we used to try to be more smash mouth in the past.
Well, they say if you can't catch me, you can't tackle me.
Correct.
In these running backs that you've got, it only takes a little bit of a crease there to get them around the corner, and you don't need to pancake everybody, I guess, when you're blocking on the line, but you got to just get in their way and give these young men a chance to get out to the corner.
Definitely, that's all. And that's all we ask our offensive line and even the other guys on the perimeter. Just turn your butt to the sideline and let these speedsters get to the sideline and just do what they do.
I was talking to Coach Payne about Mr. Kiera Meredith, who everybody knows I'm a big Kiera Meredith fan, but in the scrimmage over at Mount Tabor, I saw Kier, I think the pass went to, or DJ Miller was running the ball down the sideline. He broke loose. And I look up the field 5 yards ahead of him, and out there blocking for him was Kier Meredith. So to me, that's an all-around running back, because a lot of times, some of these star players, they don't complete every play if they don't have the ball.
Right.
And seeing these running backs who have the tremendous speed get down the field and block, that's got to make you feel good, because that could be an extra 10 or 15 yards on that run.
Oh, yeah. And I was telling the guys today, the beauty of football is it takes all 11. When you have one guy make a mistake, it really affects the entire play. It's not like basketball where you can have one dominate or something along those lines. And in football, we need all 11. We need all 11 on one accord, and that means when you don't have the ball, you do have another duty, and that's blocking and running your routes full speed. So you can never take a play off, and those guys are doing that right now.
Well, we're excited about what we saw Friday night, and we're excited about this coming weekend. What's your thoughts about the Titans coming in? I mean, they're going to be a bigger, stronger team than Parkland was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, against Mount Tabor, we started getting a little buzz in the county about Glen football. When I told the guys that was a scrimmage game, really didn't count. And Parkland, we were supposed to beat Parkland. So going into this Friday, you'll get a lot more buzz if you beat the Titans from Clemens, because they're a pretty good team, and I feel like we're a good team too. So we're just preaching winning. I mean, there's nothing else. There's nothing else in our head, on our mind. It's just win, and I think we have the talent to do it. But we have to play together, and we just have to believe. I think that's the biggest thing. If we all believe, anything is possible. And that, I mean, just going back to last year, the Northwest game, just believing you can do it. I mean, if everybody believes that, then we'll.
Well, the one thing I noticed Friday on the sideline covering the game is there was a big sense of positive attitude flowing all over the players, the coaches, everybody up and down the sideline, and that is something I think, if that continues that way, that a lot of times if you think you can beat somebody, you probably can if you go out there and do it. Right. So I think that, and pulling for everybody, not finger pointing, not backstabbing, not yelling at each other. I mean, there's obviously some screaming and yelling in football because it's a violent sport, but when kids pull for each other and coaches come over and straighten them out, that was kind of neat to see on last Friday night.
Yeah, I think that the kids really feed off of us as coaches, and if we panic, even if it's nonverbal as our body motions and stuff, they see that and they feed off that. But as long as we stay calm, they'll be calm, and they're more willing to just play and just have fun doing it. But once we panic, they panic, and now it's not fun anymore. And once you take the fun out of anything, you're not going to give it your all, because you're doing more thinking than just playing. And we want the kids to just play. So we don't want anything else. Just play football.
Is that the way you approach the game, Trey?
Yes, sir.
Just playing and having fun? And
yes, sir.
How do you think you did on Friday night?
I messed up on a couple of things, but I mean, most of all, I just did what I was supposed to do and block.
So are you sensing that positive winning attitude this year? Everybody's really excited about the year and hoping to carry on after a win Friday night and bring that same mindset to the next game?
Oh, yes, sir.
Is the practices that go on before the games, which is practice is never fun, but you guys will be getting ready for the Titans, which they'll present a pretty good challenge come Friday night. What are your expectations with when you face the Titans on Friday night?
Everybody just got to do their job, and defense got to fly to the ball, and offense got to score and do what we have to do.
And I got one other question for you. Is your mom going to bring some food during wrestling season this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was my favorite part of going to the wrestling tournaments, is getting some of that great food that you brought in.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, Coach Stevenson, for coming down here on a school night. It's school night all of a sudden. Of course, you teachers don't ever get off anyway. It doesn't make any difference.
That's
but
right.
It was a school night. So thank both of you for coming down. We're going to take another short break, and then we're going to announce the second winner of our gift certificate.
Thank
you very much.
Is your business going to die alone? Never meet the customers of its dreams? Just sit on the couch crying into a carton of ice cream while other businesses are out there thriving? New Expression can help. Without the right marketing, you're a wallflower. Without a great website, you're not going to turn heads. And without social media, you don't even have a friend to tell people what a great personality you have. New Expression can give your business a total brand makeover and get you out there, attracting customers. It used to be about who had the biggest ad in the phone book. Today, customers hit the web to locate and research before they call. If Google isn't steering customers to your site or they're not impressed by what they see, you're missing out. New Expression does web design and can provide a free analysis to see how your site stacks up against the competition. Don't have time to constantly update social media? Want cool custom apps and graphics? New Expression can help there too. From print design to mobile marketing to online presence to brand identity, New Expression can help you express yourself. Find out more at nuexpression.com.
And we are back, Bibbs downtown in Winston-Salem, and we forgot to give away our second $25 gift certificate because we got talking football and lost track of the time. But if you are in the audience and have one of these numbers in your hand, we're going to give away the second $25 gift certificate for Bibbs Downtown. The number is 111. 111. 111 is the winner. They have 10 minutes or 5 minutes to claim the prize. We have two more football players here, and they're both multi-talented athletes. Darius Patterson, you're a wrestler.
Yeah, I do wrestling. Also, last year I did track also.
And you did track, and then we got. I think. Do you have any other ability, Mr. Meredith, besides talking on the air?
Yes, sir. I play baseball and I run indoor track.
Kier Meredith, and as I've said a million times, I'm a Kier Meredith fan. I really love what you play.
Thank you.
And you guys come off a win Friday night. It was probably not against the strongest team you're going to play all year, but a win is a win, and it instills confidence, I would think.
Yes, sir.
What did you take away from that game on Friday, Darius?
Well, what I take away from it is after that win, I think we should keep building on it, and rack up more wins as we go through the season.
Do you think the defense and overall the line, everybody did their job on Friday night?
Well, we did our job, but we still need to work on some things, both defensively and offensively.
And Pierre, you have unbelievable speed. Everybody, when the secret gets out from these tapes of these games, they're going to be keying on Pierre Meredith.
Yes, sir.
But how do you've got some moves, you're able to get out of tackles. You don't need a lot of blocking. I mean, if you just get to the corner and you can turn, is that what you're looking for? Give me a little bit of daylight,
yes, sir.
And I'll let my speed take care of the rest of it.
Yes, sir.
Is that, and of course, you do tell your linemen how much you appreciate it.
Yes,
I thought the line did a really good job Friday night.
They did a wonderful job last Friday night.
And overall, I thought everybody kind of did what they were supposed. I thought our kicking game was good.
Yeah,
I was
wonderful.
Impressed with Dylan Lewis kicking the ball. That was pretty impressive. So those things, when you can take positive from these games, no matter who you beat, that's got to make the team feel a little bit better about themselves.
And it does. And we watched film earlier this afternoon before practice, and we can look back on it, and we made a few mistakes. But I think it was a good team win. It was an ugly win, but a win is still a win, and I think we're going to build on that win this week, and we're going to bring it to West Forsyth this Friday night.
Well, that's what we're looking for. I know it's going to be a tough game. You're going to be up against some bigger, stronger, faster players, I'm sure.
Well, bigger and stronger, I say, but I don't think it gets any faster than what we have here at Glenn.
They won't be any faster. There's not anybody in the county faster than you, I don't think. But, yes. They're going to be well-disciplined, well-coached football team, and I think it's going to be a great test for what you guys are hoping to accomplish this year. I mean, if you can compete with the West Forsyths and those kind of teams, that puts you in the upper echelon of football in Forsyth County. And I was saying earlier that one game doesn't make the season, but it must have felt pretty nice walking in school today and knowing you won your first football game.
It does.
I mean, the people can't look at you and say you got blown out or whatever, So it was great to see that win, and I was also commenting to Coach Stevenson how the attitude on the sideline is positive.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody is on the same page, so to speak, and seems like you pull for each other. And I think that's going to be key when you depend on things, speed, and just some maybe trick plays to win football games. You got to all be on the same page, or it's not going to work.
Yes, sir, we do.
And you're going to play baseball again this spring.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely playing baseball this spring.
Well, congratulations on being an alternate on the USA.
Thank you.
That was kind of a neat honor, and
thank you.
They probably they saw that speed in center field and on the bases. And Darius, are we going to see you in Greensboro wrestling here in the state tournament, you think?
I think so, yeah. I think you might see me wrestling in Greensboro.
Because you're a great wrestler. And also, your mom brings foods. And I was telling Trey, during wrestling season, don't forget who's taking those pictures. I need to be fed, so we're going to be looking for her. And I didn't get to talk to her Friday night, so she didn't get to yell at me. So, I'll be sure to try to say something to her. But thank you both for coming. Congratulations on a win Friday night, and we look forward to more success.
Yes, sir.
I really do appreciate you guys coming down here and taking part in our program and supporting TriadSportsCoverage.com. Thank you, Darius and Kier.
Thanks for having us.
And tell your brother I said hi.
That's all right, I will.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We did not get a winner on the last number, so we're going to draw out another number, and we're going to give this away. Number 113. 113. No one has 113. I actually got in trouble by not calling them out earlier. My wife's already told me. 142. Our next guest actually won the certificate, so he's got to come up here anyway. We're going to go. I'm sorry. I was mesmerized by what's going on, and my producers give me all. Let's take a real short break, and we'll have Coach Aldine Payne on our show. Hold on just a minute, folks. We are going to take a break, I believe.
Today, community means more than the place you live. It's groups of people connected by shared interests and similar experiences. Your yoga class, your work colleagues, your book club. With all the communities in your life, shouldn't there be one for your financial life? We're First Community, financial experts here to work with you on your personal, business, investments, and insurance needs. That's the power of community.
And we are back at Bibbs for our final guest of the evening. You know what they say, you save the best for last.
That's true. I agree with that.
Spoken by a true friend and a great coach. So you won that gift certificate.
Yes, I did.
And it wasn't rigged.
No,
we didn't rig it. I'm talking to Bobcat head football coach, Coach Aldine Payne. There's that Bobcat again, making that strange noise. Now, Coach, go ahead.
I think all the guys are up there trying, whatever it was, I gave it to one of them, and I think they're all going to get one.
Oh, they're going to try to go by, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on.
Now, Coach, we had an abbreviated game Friday night because of the lightning. From my vantage point, I was telling Coach Stevenson and I'm telling the players that there seems to be an upbeat, positive attitude on the sideline. Obviously, it was first game, and I know you as coaches analyze it to the very nth degree, and you know where things went wrong, whereas a casual observer may not think, they may think you won really big. It must have been a perfect football game, and obviously it wasn't. But it's got to feel good to know that you won the home opener, and at least you got something to build on from here.
Yeah, and they say you improve from your first to your second game the most in the whole year, and then we schedule West Forsyth, who's really good. But I think the big thing is that we went out there, everybody expected us to win. I think Parkland's vastly improved. We did what we had to do, but we kind of lost focus with the two halftimes, I guess you would say. And, if you remember 2 or 3 years ago we played them, it took us like 3 or 4 Mondays to play, and they ended up beating us. And so I was glad that they called it and we don't have to come back because no telling what would happen. But I thought the things that we did well was our offense took care of business. Even if they didn't score, they had the ball. They gave our defense a chance to rest. And that's the best defense is on the sidelines. So I was happy with that.
And I was also mentioning to a couple of players that I was impressed with the kicking game because, kicking games, we've talked before about how overlooked they sometimes get, but how crucial they can be in a tight ball game. And I thought your punter and your kicker, it was a pleasant surprise to me because that's not something you see at practice all the time.
Right.
So were you pretty pleased with how the kicking game came up and did their job?
I really was, and I think one of the big plays was when the snap went over Dalton's head and he got it and kicked it, and they didn't return it, and it changed. Instead of us being down at the 5-yard line, he kicked it to the 42-yard line, and our defense did an outstanding job all night, and they held them there. Now today we worked on something that's going to drive people crazy is out of the end zone. When you punt out of the end zone, Dalton has to take catch, kick. So he's not going to kick it that far. And we have to block and hold till we hear the thump. And then we have to go. Well, now, if he punts at 30 yards, we're at the 20 yards. He's got 10 yards. So we worked today on field goal kicking. Because if you kick a field goal out of bounds, that's where the ball goes. And a field goal kicker, we was kicking at 40 yards. Instead of the punt being 30 yards, we was kicking it 10 yards more, but we couldn't get them to kick it out of bounds. They kept hooking. And so a friend of mine coaches at Crest in Shelby and has played in the state championship. That's what he does. If his kicker can kick it further, field goal, that's what they work on. They kick it out of bounds. So we're working on that.
Always something up your sleeve.
But you could see everybody, if I go out, we got the ball on the 3-yard line, and I take the field goal team out there. And line up, holy cow, they'll go crazy.
You'll have all the stands on the field like this man has lost it trying to kick a 97-yard field goal.
That's right. But it makes sense.
Well, it does. It
really does.
I think, and it could be a big play. That could be a turning point in the ball game.
It's just that you got to get them to kick it out of bounds. They're not used to that.
Now, we on the first game, obviously, because of an injury to Greg Keller, Jordan Jurl stepped up and won the starting position at quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I thought he did a good job Friday night. Jordan can be an exciting member of the backfield.
Yeah.
And he can do a lot of good things. He really can.
And he can drive a coach crazy.
He can, but but then when you got those running backs like Kier and DJ and the young freshman, Razak, that's just unbelievable speed, and I just think that may be, for right now, our secret weapon until the film starts getting around the area and everybody says, watch out for these 3 running backs because they'll kill you. But, that's what you got to bank on. That's your bread and butter for the season.
Yeah, and it's not like, they can bank on it, but, if you're a great running back, everybody knew that Jim Brown was going to carry the ball, but they couldn't stop him. Mm-hmm. Couldn't stop Gale Sayers or any of them. So, I think the other thing that people's not talking about is Jordan threw the ball well. Him and Chris, we had a big play. It was like 3rd and 25, and we caught a 51-yard pass. Mm-hmm. Or it was completed, and he ran it for 51 yards. And I think that's the big thing that people don't understand is that Jordan's a winner. He is, and Greg is too. But the big thing is that Jordan drives you crazy. He'll make a bad play, bonehead play, but then he'll make a great play. And I talked to Greg a little bit today, and he's determined to win his position back. And the beauty of that is, as soon as if he wins it back, we'll put Jordan at cornerback. He'll probably be starting cornerback that night because he's such a good athlete.
Well, and the benefit of that is by having that competition, it's going to make both of them better.
It will. Me and Coach Stevenson talk. We just don't want any of them looking over their shoulder that they're going to be taken out if they mess up. Mm. And I think that's one of the things that we're trying to do. You talked about a change in the program. A lot of that has to do with when you get sick, you reevaluate everything, and it was like everything I did was negative. I had to get on this, get on that, get on this, get on that, everything. And I just said I wasn't going to do it no more. I was going to be the good guy. I was going to make the assistant coaches the bad guy. And so and me and Coach Stevenson went to a coach's timeout where it talked about being a Christian coach. And, being positive with the kids, and remembering that it's play, not work. And I think that's the big thing about it. And I can tell a big difference. And I can't, but our coaches, you got to understand, our coaching staff, they're funny now. I mean, we got some young kids, Coach House, Coach Rosenbaum, and Coach Anders, and they go at it. And us old fogies just lead them on, and we sit there and laugh at them. So,
speaking of Coach Anders, and I told him this the other night, at the Thursday night JV game, of course, I'm always on the sideline. I hear things that a lot of people don't hear, and I see things close up. I was really impressed with how he handled those JV players. I mean, and he did. He identifies with them, and they identify with him.
He's first of all, he's a great teacher in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, I went to watch him coach wrestling last year, and I was like, man, why don't you coach football like that? Which is real sport. And so he's really learning. And I kind of turned him loose on the end and said, this is what we want, blah, blah. And he called me, you should fire me. We're not good at defensive end. And I think he cares. And like I said, I like the staff this year. We're close, we get along good, and I really like that.
Well, I know getting off with a win, as we said earlier, is certainly better than getting off with a loss, no matter who you beat or how strong they are. And Parkland didn't come in and lay down and let you beat them. They tried to beat you, so that's, you had to play to win that football game. And Friday night, you're going to have to pull your bootstraps up a little bit tighter, I believe, because that's Adrian Snow is going to have his Titans.
I'll tell you this much. I told somebody today, I just hope that when they come on the field and we're at the other end, when they're lined up to do their exercises, our kids getting rolling down that hill, because we're going to be way up in there because they're so big. Maybe we'll knock them down like bowling pins or something. But they're huge. I mean, they're huge. Everybody's huge. And our kids are just little old kids. I just hope they can survive.
Well, I think, with the heart they have and getting the positive influence from the coaches and winning the first game, it's going to help them. And I think one of the telltale signs is going to be when they do get beat, what do they do to come back the next day?
And that's been our problem, adversity. We just don't handle it well. And so this year I've kind of I've coached defensive tackles, but I've kind of the other night probably didn't know I was there much. I finally got on offense a little bit because I thought they was kind of losing focus, but I don't worry about the offense. Coach Stevenson does a great job. He's got good coaches over there, and Coach Carter, I know that he's going to have them ready on Friday night, and so it takes a little pressure off of me, and I can just, I try to motivate the kids, and if I don't agree with something, I don't say it right out, but I'll talk to them about it later. But calling defenses is easier than calling offenses, and when things are working, it's easy. When things are not working, that's when the fans say we should do this, should do that. Well, we know that, but I know this: we don't have much on offense as far as plays, so we're getting good at what we're doing, and that's the way we got to do it.
And sometimes the simpler you do things, the better execution you have because it's repetition.
That's football. I mean, I know football's not like a war and all. I understand that. But if you watch military, what they do? Repetition. Football, repetition. Today we worked on a reactor. Every day we hit a reactor. I watched Florida State last year, right before the World Series. They were doing the same drill on a 7-man sled that we were doing. And it's because, like you said, it's repetition. You got to do it in your sleep. And that's the difference. And, that's how teams that are not as good as the good teams get beat because of little things. Lou Holt says you never trip over big rocks. You trip over little ones. So you do the little things to get better.
Well, anytime that you execute the fundamentals of any sport, any activity, that's going to give you an upper hand on those that don't pay attention to those fundamentals.
Yeah, and I came from Andrews, so I coached a lot of good athletes. And everybody says, oh, you don't have to coach them. Yeah, you do. You do. There's anywhere you go. You got to coach the little things. And the one thing I've learned in 29 years of coaching, or 30 years now of coaching, is I don't get on to a kid if I hadn't taught them. And that's where I think some young coaches get frustrated. They knew they should have taught that, but no, they didn't take the time. They wanted to teach the start. They wanted to teach the releases instead of teaching the stance, and that's the key, the little things, and hopefully we can do it.
Well, it was fun Friday night to watch the Bobcats win a football game, and everybody was happy and jovial and everything's. Of course, it makes a better first day of school when you win a football game Friday night.
It does.
But we'll be there this coming Friday night for the game in West Forsyth, and hopefully we'll have the same result. We're just going to play hard and do our best, I guess.
Well, yeah, as I told them, if you can walk off the field and look at your peers and tell them that you gave it everything you had, and the good Lord, you played for the good Lord, there's nothing else we can do. Don't play for the scoreboard. Man, so that's my, I will finish. I know we're about to close up and finish this. I told them that they're not going to get fired. They're going to graduate, no matter if they win a football game or not. It's me that's got to worry about the score, so they just play and have fun. So,
well, I appreciate your cooperation over the last 3 seasons.
Well, thank you.
And it's been eye-opening to really get the inside view of the athletic program at Glenn. I mean, there's things that not the ordinary fan would get to see or know that we do it. But it like I've told the other coaches, you guys are a class act from top to bottom. Your coaches, you do it the right way, the only way. And you had a great example in Marty Stanley with the named the stadium after Friday night. So that was quite an award for Coach Stanley. And we look forward to being back up there Friday night for another big game. And I want to say thank you for coming down here and supporting Triad Sports Coverage and helping us on our website. As we've said, we've got over 2.5 million hits since we started doing Glenn Athletics. And
seriously?
That says a lot about...
Well, I'm glad my family's hitting it pretty good then.
Well, your brother does a lot of... I know I see his name come up quite a bit, but...
Well, I want to thank you, and I think a lot of it has to do, like you said, with Marty Stanley and the principals allowing them to hire us and do what we do and trusting our athletic directors. So I think they need a lot of help too. But I just want to say thank you for all you do. And the kids, when getting the word out is tough. And I'll never forget the day I said, hey, Triad Sports Coverage, and the kids said, we got to go. He does everything for us. We got to go. We got to go. And I don't think they tell you how much you mean to them because you're always there, But when you're not there, that's when they're like, "Where's Mr. Pettaway? Where's Triad Sports Coverage at?" And so they know when you're not there, and they know where you're standing if you got a camera in your hand because they like to get your picture taken. So they do that too. But we want to thank you for everything you've done for sports.
Well, it's certainly been my pleasure, and I value your friendship too.
Same here.
I've known you for more than the 3 years at Glenn,
yes.
And I've always admired just you as an individual.
Well, thank you.
And your family, and I do appreciate our relationship as friends too. So appreciate that. And we're going to be there Friday night for the West Forsyth game, and hopefully we can pull these Bobcats up to another win.
Well, we're going to be there. We're going to try.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We have been on the air for an hour and 34 minutes. And we're going to have to get, I think they're almost closing the restaurant down. But we had a great time tonight. We had tremendous support from the Glenn Bobcat family. We had the Lady Cat golfers, Lady Cat volleyball. We had football players. We had coaches. Athletic director was here earlier. It means a lot that they just came out and supported us.
Big crowd here tonight.
It was
Mike.
a fun night.
It was
and
a lot of fun.
We certainly appreciate it. We'll be back on the air Friday at 4 o'clock for the Salem College soccer game.
That's right.
To be followed by the Glenn Bobcat West Forsyth Titan football game.
It's going to be a busy weekend. Even though, hey, it's Labor Day weekend, that doesn't mean we stop.
That's why they call it Labor Day. We're all
laboring.
And thanks to Ellen Richardson for being our sidekick here. We missed Alec tonight, but we'll get him back on the air.
That's all right. He's out there having a good time. And, hey, we actually had some other sidekicks coming on the show tonight from Glenn, so that was pretty cool.
We had a great time, and so until Thursday or until Friday at 4, I don't know what day it is. Friday at 4 o'clock, the Salem College soccer game between Wake Tech and then the Glen Bobcat, West Forsyth Titan football game.
Stay tuned. TriadSportsCoverage.com. You'll get all the details.
All the details. So for Donnie Baldridge, he has to be the world's best producer.
That's right.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's right.
And Ellen Richardson. And for Mr. Alec Hodges, who is not here, we look forward to having him on the air soon. So thank you for joining us, and tune in Friday. Adios.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of Sports Talk on Triad Sports Coverage. For more great podcasts, check out the media page on TriadSportsCoverage.com.